wonderful. It's a moment of revelation for chemistry. Okay, hello everybody. How are you? This is Sir Olenjolai, Moko TAYAI single. That's my name. I'm from Tanzania. Just call me Olenjolai. I thank God who have given me a gift of teaching, so I am a national teacher who will be teaching you chemistry in this program. I'm a Tanzanian, and also I'm doing these programs, and I would like to dedicate these programs to all the Tanzanians students who are in ordinary secondary education. When I say that all the Tanzanian students, we have different categories where we can find the O-level students who are in Form 2, Form 3, Form 4, and even Form 1. And some of the categories, we have private secondary students, ordinary secondary students who are studying in private schools. And these programs are later to dedicate to all the private secondary, ordinary secondary students. I would like to dedicate to all the government ordinary secondary students, and I'd like to dedicate to all the QT, qualifying testing, ordinary secondary students, and I'd like to dedicate these programs also that will help all the receivers who are receiving the Form 2 exams, and also all the receivers who are receiving the Form 4 exam. So I would like to take this opportunity. First of all, I have a good news. Whether you're a national, international viewer, stay tuned. Don't leave. Don't quit this place. Don't quit these programs. Don't quit this video. Just stay tuned. There's a good news that is coming in your mind today, which is fresh in order to transform you from one point to another point. So I would like to take this opportunity firstly to welcome you into one of our online school, which is called Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. Simultaneously, I would like to welcome you into one of our official YouTube channel that's called Tanzania Online O-Level Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. So this is a special programs or special online schools. It's not a physical school where we are training and incubating secondary students in mathematics and science in order to make sure, or in order to encourage them to achieve their destiny for the rest of their life, because I know that they need particularly the knowledge of science subjects and mathematics for them to make sure that they follow their passion. So the next question is, what are we doing? What the purpose? Because according to the word of God written in the Proverbs chapter 29, chapter 29, verse 18, the Bible says that where there is no vision, people perish. What does it mean? It means that if Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai does not have vision, what it means of vision? It means that legacy plus destiny, right? So it means purpose of its existence. If God didn't declare in our mind the purpose for the existence of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai, then we and even these online schools is going to perish. That's the truth, and that's the fact, and it's the law from the word of God, which is holy, right? So this is the purpose or the visions of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai, which in short we call TITO also, right? So we have an assignment to teach and train some group of students who will be ready to go higher or to think differently on how they can extract knowledge, understanding, and wisdom from the classroom instructions that they are learning in chemistry, mathematics, and basic mathematics, and combine it with the knowledge and with the knowledge, understanding, and wisdom that they are going to extract from what? From the Word of God that's written in the Holy Bible, in order to solve real life problems. That is the vision we have in Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School. So why are we declaring the public? Because we want these visions to be built up in the mind of our students, built up in the mind of the parents, built up in the mind of the guardians, built up in the minds of the leaders, built up in the minds of the ministers, built up in the minds of the sponsors who are sponsoring ordinary secondary students. That's why we are declaring it. So the main objective is not to prepare students in order for them to pass the continuous assessment, maybe to pass the midterm test, annual exam, or to pass the terminal exams or pre-mock or mock exams. That's not our main objective. Or to prepare students to pass the NECT exams, Certificate Secondary Education exam. Those are our specific objective, and we'll pay attention on those, because if we don't pay attention to prepare you to have to be victorious in continuous assessment and victorious in the final exam, then you'll be completely stressed. And even if we add a value on what you used to get formally in the normal schools, then you'll never capture because your mind is already distorted. So we want to free you, it means that to release you from the bondage of of discouragement, bondage of disappointment, and bondage of giving up in this formal education. In order, when we add the value now, we take you from the, we teach you to think outside of the class. You have already covered everything about the class and you are not fearful. So you can go more than you think. What I'm telling you, it might be like a difficult, the visions I declared, it might be difficult in your mind to be practical, because I know that some of the viewers right now of the students, they say, oh, sir, how are you going to achieve that? Okay, really, myself, I'm a product of what I'm telling in my private life, because I am a teacher, I am an engineer, I am a programmer, but I have my private life, right? In my private life, I used to apply these 4 steps or these 4 things to extracting knowledge and wisdom, to extract knowledge and understanding, wisdom from the Word of God written in the Holy Bible, and extracting knowledge, understanding, and wisdom from from the formal and the informal educations in mathematics, science, and the engineering, and combine these 2 knowledge, or these two understanding, and combining these 2 knowledge, wisdom, and solve real life problems. What real life problems Olenjolai has ever you solved? I'm trying to answer some of the common questions, because I know some of the viewers have joined me, or they are watching this program for the first time. So whether it's your first time or it's your second time, receive the fresh information from Sir Olenjolai, right? So it means that the real life problem, a good example of real life problems that I'm solving right now, it's this program, right? I am a founder of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School, in square bracket Olenjolai. And then in this program, so in this online school, I'm focusing to solve complex, intermediate, and simple problems that have been encountered by students when they are learning science subjects in ordinary secondary level and even basic mathematics. But I'm not dealing with them also. I'm also trying to make sure that I nourish the teachers who are teaching, the local teachers, meaning that are the formal teachers who are being employed by the government to teach them, because they can refer these contents and they can take and then make sure that they deliver into the minds of the young students. Because for me, as a teacher, I use also to harness other teachers and learn from them. And even you, if you're a teacher watching these programs, I want just to tell you, in case if you want our teaching to be more successful, we have to build each other, we have to appreciate each other, we have to share, we have to cooperate. So take this information and then convey it to your students, and then I will take your information if I will find it and then convey it to my students. And that's in that situation we'll be building the body of Christ. Okay, so that's what I've just tried to answer some few questions, and then I'll answer you more questions as we move. Okay, so before I take you inside of this session of the day, which is very interesting, today I'm going to teach you laboratory preparations of oxygen gas by decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. This is good news. This is good news. Tell your neighbor, get prepared to receive good news. The first thing, the second piece of information that we'd like to share with you is registration. How can you register yourself into TOOSO? TOOSO is abbreviations of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School, in square bracket Olenjolai. Okay, so what are the steps? The good thing that you have to do one lifetime registration, and then so you can access all our contents and will be informed, you'll be given the official notifications when we add a new product, because these are the products. Okay? When we say new product, it means the new video, right? A new training or teaching video. The first step, if you don't have an email, something called the email, okay? Create or open email, okay? Open what? New email. How are you going to do that? Just go to Google and then ask you, how can I create a new email? Then Google will give you the steps which you have to follow. Within 5 minutes, you are done with that. If you have an email, then you have to skip the first step, you go to the second step, and the second step, we ask you that to sign in what? Sign in YouTube by using your email. Okay, because without having an email, you cannot register yourself in Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School, in square bracket Olenjolai. The second step, when you are in YouTube and you have already signed in, Okay, then we ask you to search what to also. Don't write to also, but just copy this word. Tanzania Online O Level Circuit School in square bracket Olenjolai. Once you click the search button, then you see our YouTube channels, which has a round software button, and then this is our national flag. This is the national flag for Tanzania, eastern of the African continents. You will see the national flag here to indicate that this is the national program. I thank God by His grace, I'm a national teacher who is going to teach all the Form 2 students. I'm going to teach chemistry to all the Form 2 students of Tanzania, all the Form 2 students of African continents, all the Form 2 students of American continents, of European continents, of Asia's continents. I'm going to teach all the Form 2 students of Australian students through the power of the internet and the digital technology, and that's what we say, applications of telecommunication. Okay, I thank God by His grace. Also, I'm electronic and telecommunication engineer. Okay, a graduate. Okay, so here you see the word Tanzania Online O-Level Circuit School in square bracket Olenjolai, and then here you see the number of subscribers. Just click this button. When you click these buttons, you'll see that the next part, there's a word written home, and then video, and then you have playlist, and then there is channel, and then there is channel, and there's community, and then there is about. So we ask you to go the first stage. We ask you to click the software buttons that written playlist, and then I will tell you why should you click or why should you go there. Once you go there, I think that this is okay. I think that this should be. Let me do the correction. This should be the next step. Okay. So the first step, once you open, it means that click this button, right? So search the torso, okay, and then what? And then click what? Click the round button. You're already now installed, you're only welcome. And then once you are there, before even you click this home, videos, playlist, channel, community, whatever, you have to check at the bottom on the right hand side, and then we ask you, you will see the software button, which it has been written, subscribe, and the background, subscribe. In the background, okay, subscribe. That's what has been written. Subscribe, okay? So subscribe. And then the buttons is so once you click this button, which has been written subscribe, the word will change into subscribe, and then the icon of the bell will appear. So you have to click it, then you choose the options of of all. Wonderful. So this is the first step. So when you just have to click twice. Firstly, you have to click this button. So take the mouse and click it. The mouse of your of your smartphones or iPhones or on the computer. Click it. Once you click, the icon of the bell will appear. Click this icon of the bell. Then you see 3 options: all, personalized, and none. Then click all. You are done. You have already registered yourself permanently until you graduate your Form 4 education. You don't need for you to get registered again. It's one lifetime's registrations. And why should you subscribe? We are going to have more than 60, almost more than 500 videos of training ordinary secondary students. So, and we are adding at least 1 video in a day. So for you to get notifications about what we have added, which video we have added in our channel, that will be possible if you have subscribed into our YouTube channel. If you don't subscribe, then you won't get any official notification once we upload a new video. So it's for your advantage. Then the next step, so you have already registered. You can access now all the contents. All of these are for you. Okay, they have been created by the YouTube community for you. So we ask you again, the next step for you, it means we ask you to click the playlist, the simplest way, the playlist. So when you click the playlist, you will see so many playlists, but you can find a playlist which written Oxygen. So in the playlist of Oxygens, you'll find collections of systematic lectures which have been arranged from the first lecture to the last lecture. That's what the power of a playlist. Also, we have a departments of chemistry. So we have created a playlist for the departments of chemistry, where we teach chemistry Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 4. So in this playlist of chemistry, we are going to collect all the sessions of chemistry from Form 1 to Form 4 and put them together so you can access all of them. So you have a choice. Either you go straight for oxygen or you go to a playlist of photo of chemistry. But also we have a subjective playlist. We have departments playlist, we have subjective playlist, we have topics playlist. So you have 3 playlists. You have to understand, my dear student. We have 3 playlist. Okay? We have 3 playlists. The first playlist is department. Department, right? Department. The second playlist is what? Is subjects. Every subject, for example, chemistry form 1, it has its own playlist. Chemistry form 2 has its own playlist. But another playlist is what? Is chapters. Chapters or chapter playlist. Okay, chapter. So a chapter. For example, oxygen is a chapter, then it has its own playlist. So keep enjoying the beauty of of chemistry. So if you visit here, you have 3 playlists. So for example, in this channel, departments, we have a playlist for the departments of chemistry, and then you have a playlist for the subject called the chemistry form 2. And you have another playlist which is called the oxygen. That's all. Wonderful. So you can access. So in the playlist of chemistry, we have all the videos. We collect them from form 1 to form 4. And the playlist of chemistry form 2 comprises videos of training of all the topics of form 2 that will be collected together. Only form 2. You will never find any video for the form 1 in the playlist of chemistry form 2. Then the playlist of oxygens will be just, it means that will be the collections of all the videos of about oxygen. All right? I believe that you've understood. I know that you are going to enjoy our content. So the next step we ask you to click So in the next step we ask you that to click means that to click like. You can dislike. Okay, that is your option. But also we insist you to click the buttons of share so that you can share the link of this video to your friends through Facebook. Okay, you can share the link of this video with your friends through WhatsApp, and then you can share the link of this video with your friends through Telegram, through Instagram, through email, WhatsApp, Telegram, Instagram, through Twitter, through TikTok, etc., etc. Wonderful enough. Okay, so we have some departments. We have almost 5 departments. 5 departments in this also. Okay, 5 departments. So you have departments of you have departments of chemistry, and today we are teaching chemistry for the pre-form 2 and form 2 or class class 10. And then the chapter, this is chapter 1, oxygen, to teach about oxygen, and this is session 3. And then you have the title it has been titled Laboratory Preparations of Oxygen Gas by Decomposition of Hydrogen Peroxide. We have very good news, my dear students. So just to remind you quickly what you have, just to do the quick review. Okay, quick review. Tell your neighbor that they prepared to receive quick review. Quick review of quick review of session 2. Quick review of session 2. In session 2, which you can access in our YouTube channel, in our official YouTube channel, we taught you about oxygen, what the meaning of oxygen. So there we define what the oxygen gas. Okay, because you have oxygen element and oxygen gas. The oxygen element we define we defined in the session 1. Okay. Again, after defining the oxygen gas, we told you the symbol of the symbol of oxygen gas. Okay, the symbol of oxygen gas. Then after teaching the symbol of oxygen gas, we taught you something called existence of oxygen. And then we said that oxygen can exist as monatomic, can exist as atomic, can exist as triatomic, which we call the ozone oxygen. Then again, we taught you about the preparation of oxygen. Okay, laboratory or methods of So we talked about methods of preparing oxygen gas in laboratory. So we said how many methods we have. So we mentioned in laboratory. So we mentioned to you 4 methods of preparing oxygen. So 4 methods. So there are 4 methods. Okay, and then we are starting with the first one. The first method we say that decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. Okay, this is hydrogen peroxide. That's the molecular formula of hydrogen peroxide. The second method, so this is the first one, right? The second method, we say that you can prepare by decomposition of 40 decompositions of potassium chlorate. Same decomposition, it's the same decomposition, okay? Same decompositions of 40 of potassium chlorate. So potassium chlorate, okay? Something like this, potassium chlorate, potassium chlorate, yes, it is chlorine oxide. Then the third method, we say that is same decompositions of 40, same decomposition of metal peroxide. Okay, so same decompositions of 40 metal peroxide. Example of metal peroxide we told you barium motif. For example, barium oxide. Okay, and then the fourth method, we say that the fractional distillations of air, fractional distillation, so fractional distillation of 40 of air. And then we left the homework for you, which was example 1. And that example 1, just to read for you, we asked you that, which is nectar, it's come from the past paper of nectar from 2 of 2014, question 4a. The questions was reading, I was stating, which we are going to answer today. Draw a diagram to show laboratory preparation of oxygen using hydrogen peroxide. In the diagram, label all the compounds and elements involved in the preparation. That's all. So let us go into the today's session. Laboratory preparations of oxygen gas by what decompositions of hydrogen peroxide. So first of all, we say that let us focus on the chemical reaction. Before we go to the laboratory, so say chemical reaction of 40, chemical reaction of hydrogen peroxide. So you have to listen carefully because I'm building this strong foundation. Ordinary chemistry means that the chemistry for ordinary secondary students is the fundamental chemistry. It's the foundation of hydrogen peroxide. Okay? So chemical reactions of hydrogen peroxide. So firstly, we have to remember that, okay, generally, the chemical reaction, we have a topic called the chemical equation form theory. The first topic will teach you in detail about chemical reaction. But here we are just trying to build the mindset in your mind, right? Are you enjoying the beauty of chemistry? Tell me in the comment section, please. Interact with me in the comment section. Ask a question, give me the feedback, right? Okay, so generally the chemical reaction is written like this one. So in chemistry, we have, on this side, we have a chemical substance, we call it reactant. It can be one reactant in a reaction, or 2 reactants, or 3 reactants. And then here we have what an R, which is equivalent to the equal sign. It's just like in mathematics. Just you have to recall. Remember in mathematics, we can have that, let's say, we have 3 plus 4. This is equal to 7. So this in chemistry we call it reactants. And this equal sign represented by using the R. And this we call it product in chemistry. Wonderful. So you see the relationship between chemistry and mathematics. So here we have what products. Okay? Products. So reactants. Let me just say Hamilton by using the capital letters. Okay? So on the left-hand side, always, whether it is reversible reaction, whether it is neutralization reaction, whether it is combustion reaction, whether it is double decomposition reaction, whether it is redox reaction, whether it is just displacement reaction, whether it is combination chemical reaction. Reactants always are on the left-hand side and products are on the right-hand side. Keep that tip, my dear student. From now onwards, you will enjoy this content for the rest of your life, right? So it's reactants on the left-hand side, products on the right-hand side. It's just like you have 3 plus what? 4. This is arithmetic mathematics. 3 plus 4 is 7. So this we call them reactants, okay? And this we call them products. Again, we can also break down these 7. And let's say 3 plus 4, this is equal to 4, or let's say this is equal to 2 plus 5. So this is still a result, right? So these are equal values. So it's just like reactants and then products. But in chemistry, we have something again on that we use to indicate in the chemical equation, and this we call the condition. Okay? So let me write it now, including the condition, which is additional from mathematics. So this is that to say, so on this side, we We have what? Reactants. Okay, reactants. And these reactants react together to form what? Form products. Okay? So here we have what? Something called the condition. Condition, or we can use what? Catalyst. Catalyst. So we indicate condition or catalyst above the arrow or below the arrow. So it depends. So the fundamental question which I know my beloved students who want to understand chemistry is asking me, sir, what is reactants? What is reactants? Okay, reactants in chemistry. In chemistry. Okay? In chemistry. So simply say that a reactant, or say that is a chemical substance, is a chemical substance, it is a chemical substance which undergo chemical reaction, okay, to form what? To form product. From one product or more than one product. That's the meaning of reactants. Example, so in case of our chemical reaction, example, so you say that the example of what? Of reactant, right? Of reactant in the preparation, in the laboratory preparation, the laboratory preparation of what? Of oxygen. You know now if you write this one, is what? Is hydrogen peroxide. Is hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so hydrogen what? So this is question 1. Hydrogen peroxide. So it means in these laboratory preparations of oxygen, we have already an example for reactants. It's hydrogen peroxide. So hydrogen peroxide will act as what? Reactants. It's a one which will be undergo the chemical transition or chemical change in order to form a new product. So ladies and gentlemen, you can pause this video and copy these steps. They are very important for you because I know many students, they used to spend much time. You make this one video and then you don't know where the next one, right? So with this guidance, I believe that you are going to simplify your life and enjoy the contents we are creating for you for the rest of your life. Because if now you are students, we are going to teach you when you'll be in Form 3, we have content for the Form 3, we have content for the Form 4. Wonderfully enough, if you join also and you study advanced physics, advanced chemistry, and advanced mathematics, we have also contents for them and basic applied mathematics. So we teach you Form 5, Form 6. So you see the goodness of being a student of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School in square bracket Olenjolai. Yeah, wonderful. So I believe that you have already copied. Okay, so let me clean. So now, in our chemical, in the laboratory preparation, in the laboratory preparations of oxygen, we say that we have our reactants, which is called the hydrogen peroxide. So again, I know myself, as your teacher, when I was learning this reaction for the first time, what is hydrogen peroxide first? Before we prepare, we have to understand what we are using. Hydrogen peroxide. Okay? Remember that the heart of TOPOSO, the heart of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School, is understanding. Okay? Is understanding. So the answer to this question is this one. Hydrogen peroxide, we say that is a compound. Okay? We taught you what the meanings of compound in Form 1 or molecule, okay, which is made up by two atoms of hydrogen, two atoms of hydrogen, and the two atoms of oxygen. That is. So hydrogen peroxide, ladies and gentlemen, is what? First of all, it's a compound. It's not an element, it's a compound. Which is made up by what? Two atoms. It's made up by what? Two atoms of what? Of hydrogen. And also it's made up by two atoms of what? Of oxygen. Okay? So that is. So if that's the case now, we can write the molecular formula because we know the number of atoms in this compound. The compound contains only 2 elements, hydrogen and the oxygen. How many number of atoms of hydrogen? 2. How many number of atoms of oxygen? 2. So it means that right now, the molecular formula, say molecular formula, the molecular formula of what? Of hydrogen peroxide, molecular formula of hydrogen peroxide is what? Is this one. 2 atoms of hydrogen and 2 atoms of what? Of oxygen. So, but this is in the upper state. So if you want to know the state, but I'll teach you later, this is the upper state. But you can just write this way, just to simplify the concept. So the molecular formula 40 of hydrogen peroxide. So that's the reactant that we are going to use. But again, so this is the first thing that we are discussing or I'm teaching you. This is the general question. In any chemical reaction, you have to think, you have to remember this. Okay, reactants. So that's all about reactants. Then the second part is this intermediate, either condition or catalyst. So we'll teach you and give you an example for reaction, chemical reaction that uses what condition. Okay, in the second method of preparing what, in the second method of preparing oxygen, you have catalyst. Student, my beloved students, say catalyst. Say catalyst. Say it again, catalyst. Okay, what is catalyst? That is a very important question. This is question 3. What is catalyst? What is catalyst? Okay, so say catalyst. Catalyst, we say that is a chemical substance, is any chemical substance, right? Substance which speed up. So speed up means increases the speed. Speed up, which speeds up what? The chemical reaction. Okay, chemical reactions of what? Chemical reactions of reactants. So speed up chemical reactions of what? Of reactants, while itself does not undergo any chemical change. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the beauty of chemistry. Chemistry is a beautiful subject, okay? So it's a catalyst that speeds up a chemical reaction without itself undergoing any chemical change. So without itself undergoing chemical change. So that's the meaning of catalyst. If you have never heard about catalyst, very important phenomenon in chemistry, from O-level chemistry to PhD chemistry. It means to postgraduate chemistry or to doctorate chemistry. You will start about catalyst. If you love chemistry, start thinking about catalyst. I used just to joke my students, my physical students, and then I tell them, so whenever I teach them just a difficulty phenomena, and then I ask them, if you have your firstborn, call him or her a catalyst. Then they used to laugh, even yourself. Can you do that? Tell me in the comment section, please. Okay, so because this is it. Chemistry is a song, it's a dancing, it's a joy, it's a joyful subject. So you have to be happy, right? So what is catalyst? Catalyst is a chemical substance. This is what? Chemical substance, which speeds up what? The chemical reaction. Speeds up the chemical reaction. Of what? Of reactants. So it's there to speed up the chemical reaction. For instance, this is the reactant 1 and this is reactant 2, they have to react. So if there's no catalyst, the reactions will be done slowly. But if you add the catalyst, the reaction between this duster and this chalk will take place within a short time. Without a catalyst, for example, the reactions can take maybe 10 hours. But if you add a catalyst, the reaction can take only 10 minutes. How do you think about that? So this one, it actually speeds up the chemical reactions of what? Between reactants or among reactants without itself. So itself, it does not undergoing any chemical change. So at the end of chemical reaction, the catalyst remains as the catalyst. While reactants, they have been changed into the new compounds or new atom, right? and new atoms which we call the product. Okay, so example what? Example of catalyst in the chemical reaction of what? Or in the lab, or chemical reaction of laboratory preparation of 40 of oxygen is manganese. So it's called manganese. We check the spelling. Manganese 4 oxide. Manganese 4 oxide. So this is the example of catalyst. So if you be asked in the Form 2 exams, this is a common question: what is catalyst? And mention at least 2 examples of catalyst. So now you know the definition and you have 1 example. And I'll add up more examples as we continue, because this is the first chapter and you have more than 5 chapters of chemistry Form 2. Okay, so manganese 4 oxide. That's the example 40 of the catalyst. Okay, that's the example of catalyst. Example of catalyst. So again, the next question, which will be question 4 for this session: what is manganese for? When I was preparing this session, I asked myself, what is manganese for? Okay, what is manganese for? Because my students will hear this phenomena for the first time. I don't want them to claim. I want them to understand what is manganese for. Oxide in chemistry. What is manganese for? Oxide in chemistry. If you know, you can pause the video and then try to write on a piece of paper. If you're watching these programs with your friends, left hand side and right hand side, and then ask him or her, what is manganese for oxide? Wonderful. Okay. So you say that manganese 4 oxide, say that is a chemical substance. So this is the chemical substance, okay? Substance or chemical compound. It's a chemical substance or chemical compound which contains, so we define them according to the number of atoms, okay, contains one atom or 40 of manganese, right? 1 atom of manganese, and then 2 atoms of oxygen, if I'm not mistaken, yeah. And then 2, this is 1. My dear students, this is 1. Okay? God is here. 1 atom of 40 of manganese, and then 2 atoms of 40, 2 atoms of oxygen. That means 40 manganese 4 oxide. So manganese 4 oxide is a compound, is a chemical compound, or is a compound which contain 1 atom of manganese and 2 atoms of oxygen. If you've understood the definitions of hydrogen peroxide, we said hydrogen peroxide is a compound which contains 2 atoms of hydrogen and 2 atoms of oxygen. Then we use the definition to write the molecular formula. If you've understood, before I write there, then I want to challenge you, because this is the active learning. Tell your neighbor, this is the active learning program. So I want to challenge you, right? You know the challenge that I want to tell you. Before I write the molecular formula of manganese 4, by using the definition, write the molecular formula of manganese 4 before I write. Okay, thank you for trying. So let me answer that question. So the chemical formula, the molecular formula, of what? Of manganese 4 oxide. Manganese 4 oxide is M. You don't know only the molecular formula of 40 of manganese. So M, and then 2 atoms of oxygen. So I didn't teach yet, I didn't start to teach you about preparations of oxygens in the laboratory. by using hydrogen peroxide. I'm still teaching the reaction first. You have to understand what compounds are going to react. So I say that the molecular formula of what is, so manganese 4. So let me, okay, because you didn't see it here clearly, the chemical symbol of manganese is this. So we say 1 atom of manganese, so that's the chemical symbol of 40 of manganese. This is capital M, this is small m, and then the chemical symbol of oxygen is this one, but 2 atoms of 40 of oxygen. So 1 atom of manganese and 2 atoms of 40 of oxygen. So this is the molecular formula of 40 of manganese 4 oxide. Wonderful. Okay. So again, we have another part. The third part of any chemical reaction is what? Product. Product. Say product. Product of the chemical reaction. Right? Product of chemical reaction. Okay? So the question we have, the fundamental question, which in this case will be question 5, what is product of chemical reaction? So what the meaning of chemical reaction? Because we are going to discuss product, chemical reaction. In preparations of oxygen, we are going to discuss this stuff. So what is product of chemical reaction? Okay, so say that a product is any new substance, any new chemical substance. Okay, any new chemical substance, let me use the adjective, any new chemical substance, any new chemical substance, okay, any new chemical substance. A is any new chemical substance in the chemical reaction, okay, any new chemical substance which is formed when reactants, one reactant or more than one reactants undergo chemical change. So undergo chemical change. But the means of a product. A product of a chemical reaction. A product is any new chemical substance. Any new. So a product always in the chemical reaction will be formed after reactants undergo chemical reaction. And this product is formed when reactants undergo chemical change. So when this stuff undergo chemical change. Now the meaning of what? Of product. So example, the products of 40 of chemical reaction in laboratory preparation of oxygen by decomposition of 40 of hydrogen peroxide. You know this molecular formula now are 2, oxygen and water. So these are the 20 product. So now you know the meaning of reactants, the reactants of a chemical reaction. You know the catalyst of the chemical reaction. You know the products of our chemical reaction. So now we can write the balanced chemical equation. Right? The balanced chemical equation. If you have any question, please don't hesitate. Ask in the comment section, please. Okay, so to write the balanced chemical equation, we say you have reactants on the left-hand side. What the molecular formula for reactants is hydrogen peroxide. So this is the molecular formula. And then we remember this one undergo decomposition. So it's a decomposition chemical reaction. So what type of the chemical reaction? In Form 3 will teach you 5 basic types of chemical reaction. One of them is called decompositions of decompositions chemical reaction. And this is the example. So here we have a catalyst. What the name of our catalyst? Manganese 4 oxide. I don't want to write this equation myself. I want to write with you, right? So this is the reactant, which is hydrogen peroxide. This is our catalyst, which is manganese 4 oxide. And then we have our product. How many products do you have? 2. Oxygen, which we are preparing, and water. And water. Okay? So we can write also there's something we call the physical state. This is aqueous, because this is hydrogen peroxide solution. And this is what? This is gas, right? And then this is what? This is liquid. So that is the chemical equation. Okay? So here we say that it's chemical equation of 40. So let me just okay, so let me write this title. Okay? Chemical equation of what? So the chemical equation of laboratory preparation of 40 of oxygen by decomposition of what? By decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. So now you know the meaning of this in hydrogen peroxide. So we have a word equation. So let us start with word chemical equation. Word chemical equation. So word chemical equation. So word chemical equation, we have reactants on the left hand side. So reactants is what? Hydrogen peroxide. And this one undergo chemical reaction under the presence of what? Of manganese. So the presence of what? So let me draw the long line of manganese 4 oxide. So manganese 4 what? Manganese 4 oxide. So the product, we say it is what? Oxygen. Okay, plus what? Plus water. So this is the word equation. So word chemical equation. You have to understand, we have a topic called the chemical equation in Form 3, the first topic. I'm also teaching. So if you be in Form 3, you enjoy this stuff because I used to provide so many examples and use a simple language for you to understand. So it's hydrogen peroxide on the reactant side, manganese 4 oxide is our catalyst, and then the oxygen and water are the product. So now that's the word equation. So you can write what the molecular chemical equation. Say molecular chemical equation. We'll teach you what the means of molecular chemical equation in Form 3. Right now, just you have to know in chemistry, in the world of chemistry, we have something we call the molecular chemical equation. Molecular chemical equation. So molecular chemical equation, we write these same reactions, but we don't use what? Words. We just use the chemical symbols. So we say on the reactant side, we have what? Hydrogen peroxide. And this one, it is in aqueous state because whenever you find hydrogen peroxide, it's in solution form. Solution. It's just like what? Just like a tea, right? So that's why we write aqueous. Aqueous means it contains water. So this one undergo decomposition under the presence of what? Give me the molecular form of manganese 4 oxide. It's manganese, and then we have 2 atoms of oxygen. Then it forms what? It's from oxygen, and oxygen is oxygen liquid, gas, or solid. It's gas. So its physical state is gas, then plus what? Plus water. Water it is what? Physical state is liquid. This is a balanced, not unbalanced chemical reaction. But it's wonderful. If the Form 2 students write the chemical equation this time, I believe that you are going to surprise all the teachers, including even those who are marking the next exam, because it's actual that they will see you are very creative and you love chemistry and you understand chemistry more than they expected. So you're very genius in chemistry. Wonderful. Are you ready for that? Okay, good. So this is our chemical reaction. Okay? That's our chemical reaction. So if that's a chemical reaction, then we say, is it balanced? No, it's not balanced. Why? What the means of balancing? How many number of atoms do you have of hydrogens on the left-hand side? Any chemical reaction should be balanced. We have 2 atoms of hydrogen. On this side, we have 2 atoms of hydrogen. So the number of hydrogens on the left-hand side, on the reactant side, is equal to the number of hydrogens on the product side. How many number of oxygen do you have? On the reactant side, we have 2 atoms of oxygen. On the reactant side, we have 3 atoms of oxygen. So the number of oxygen atoms on the reactant side is not equal to the number of oxygen atoms on the productive side. So what you have to do as chemists, we have to balance. How are you going to balance? We have to add the numbers, add the coefficients of these chemical compounds. So how should we start? First of all, we have a problem. It means on this side we have few number of oxygen. So we increase them by adding what? The number of moles to be 2. So now we have 2 times 2, we have 4 oxygen on this side. While on this side we have 3 number of oxygen on the product side. So on this side now, on the product side, we have few number of atoms of oxygen more than the number of oxygen on the reactant side. So then we have to add it 2. So how many number of oxygen do you have on the reactant side? 4. How many number of oxygens do you have on the product side? 2 plus 2, 4. So the number of atoms of oxygen have been balanced on the reactant side and product side. How many number? Don't include this, please. This is a catalyst. It does not undergo any chemical reaction. Remember, without itself undergoing the chemical reaction. What we balance is what it has undergone the chemical reaction. So remember that, take that, because the Holy Spirit was reminding me that you will include this number of oxygen. No. This is catalyst. It does not, just to speed up the reaction. Just to speed up. Okay. So then let us check the number of hydrogen again, because we disturbed our reaction. So on the reactant side we have 4 atoms of hydrogen. On the product side we have 4 atoms of hydrogen. So wonderful. So that is a balanced molecular chemical equation of 14 of decompositions of hydrogen peroxide from oxygen and water. So remember that for the rest of your life. Not only for the Form 2, for the Form 3, for the Form 4. You're going to encounter it. But don't throw this material, or don't delete everything after you graduate the Form 4 exam. Please keep. My teachers did a great mistake. They didn't tell me that the chemistry I'm learning in Form 1 to Form 4, I will be using on learning the advanced chemistry in Form 5 and Form 6. And also my advanced teachers, they made a mistake. They didn't link where I'm going in future with what I was learning at that stage. So they didn't tell me that if I go to undergraduate education, I will have to recall the concept and use effectively the concepts of advanced chemistry, Form 5, Form 1 to Form 6. So myself, I don't want to do the mistake like the mistake my teachers have done. I want to tell you, once you understood this information, keep it for the rest of your life. Remember, the main objective of Tanzania Online Ordinary Secondary School is to teach our students to solve real life problems. So when I'm giving you this information, you have to challenge yourself. Where can I use this information? What knowledge, understanding, wisdom can I extract here in order to solve a real life problems, the physical problems, the actual problem? That will be successful in life, right? Don't take examples of failure people in education. Don't take examples of failure chemists that you have seen just around you. Think differently. Okay, so now we have discussed we have understood about the chemical reactions of this laboratory preparation. Okay, I thank you very much for you understanding this stuff. I'm teaching by using a very simple language, and 80% of what am I going to teach you, I learned, God has taught me in person. What I learned just in class is 20%. I'm not boasting me, but I know what I used to learn. I used to cram and I failed to cram because I didn't get good teaching. Okay? So, that is all about what we have to understand. That's about chemical reactions of that stuff. Okay. So product we have already discussed. So now, let us go let us focus on laboratory preparations of laboratory preparations of oxygen apparatus. Okay, so apparatus require required to prepare oxygen. If I read this one now, you are a good chemist, the oxygen in laboratory by decomposition of 40 of hydrogen peroxide. Now you understand what am I writing? Chemical symbols, chemical compounds, you understand them. Do you love chemistry? Tell me in the comment section, please. So apparatus. So you see, we learned about safety, we learned about this stuff in Form 1, about apparatus, laboratory apparatus. So today, we are going to use them in this experiment, okay? So we say that before even we mention, we have a question. This will be example 2. We didn't answer example 1, don't worry, I will answer it soon. Example 2, and this you have to refer, what? Refer certificate secondary education examination, NECTA exam of 40 year, NECTA exam of 2018. So this is the answer of the question which has been asked in NECTA exam of the Form 2. NECTA Form 2, not Form 4, NECTA Form 2, okay, of 40 of 2018, and this was question number 9. Okay, question number 9. So how the question states. So we have Tanzania Online Ordinary Library, where we are equipping our students with reference books. This is the questions and answer book. It's called the Form 2 Chemistry Review. You can order it. It's cheap, and then you can order it in order to enjoy the beauty of chemistry. So I'm opening it right now. I'm going to the part of the questions to contain questions from 2003 to 2019. Okay, these are the Tanzania NECTA Form 2 questions. So now I'm in the NECTA exam Form 2 of 2018, question 9A. So question 9A. How the question state? The question state this way. Outline 6 common. Outline 6 common. Okay, 6 common apparatus. Outline 6 common apparatus used in the laboratory. Used in the laboratory preparation. Laboratory preparation of what? Laboratory preparation of oxygen gas. Oxygen gas using hydrogen. You can order this book, and we have so many reference books of hydrogen by using hydrogen peroxide. So you can order them, and we can send to you wherever you are in Tanzania. Hydrogen peroxide. Even if you are in Unguja and Pemba, we may send this stuff or this reference material to you. Okay, outline 6 common apparatus used in the laboratory preparation of oxygen gas using hydrogen peroxide. That's the question. You can find, according to this question, because it are 10 marks in. So outlines for users of oxygen. So this one, it had 6 marks. So each apparatus, if you mention, you are going to be awarded what? 1 mark. Okay? So solution for this question, which will be also what? Will be the list of the apparatus required to prepare oxygen. So remember that here we have 2, so these 2 should be here. Okay. The first apparatus that we need, first apparatus that we need. First apparatus that we need is cystofunnel. Okay, it's called the cystofunnel. That's the first apparatus. And then the second apparatus, we need a tap. Call it a tap, or we call it a stopper, or in other words we call it stopper, or a cork. Okay? Then we have number 3. We need conical flask. We need conical flask or round bottom conical flask or round bottom flask. Okay, flask. So this is cystofunnel. You will see them in the diagram soon. We need a tap or a stop or a cork. We need conical flask or round bottom flask. So we can use either conical flask or round bottom flask. The first apparatus that we need in this experiment, we need delivery. So I will mention 7 apparatus that we need, but for this question you've been asked to mention any of the 6. It's called delivery tube. Delivery tube, which will be allowing oxygen. Okay, allowing oxygen. Will be allowing oxygen from the reaction, means that from the conical, allow the transfer of oxygen from the conical flask or round bottom flask to the water bath. Okay, the water bath, delivery tube. Then the fifth apparatus, ladies and gentlemen, that we need is called the water trough. So we need water trough. We need water trough. Water trough. We need water trough. Okay? Then we need water trough. Okay? Then the 6th one, we need again an apparatus we call it behave shelf. Okay? Behave shelf. And then number 7, we need a device or an apparatus, not a device, excuse me. We need an apparatus we call it gas jar. Gas jar. And this one will be upside. We are going to use a gas jar, but it will be having upside dot, up, down, upside down. So it means that you're going to use this, which is upside down. Up, side. Okay. Wait a minute. Up, side, down. Upside down. So these are the 7 apparatus that we need in laboratory preparations of oxygen by decomposition of 40 hydrogen peroxide. So to answer that question, you may mention maybe cystofunnel, a tap, a conical flask, delivery tube, water trough, behave shelf. Then you're done. Or you may mention that it may be cystofunnel, conical flask, delivery tube, water trough, behave shelf, gas jar. Right? So that's the answer of that question. Again, ladies and gentlemen, before I draw the figure, okay, the figure of this experiment, again we need some materials. Okay, we need materials required. required in what? In preparation of oxygen. Preparation of in laboratory preparation of what? Of oxygen by decomposition. By decomposition. Composition of what? Of hydrogen peroxide. So we need basically three materials, because once we have apparatus and have these materials, then we can do the experiment. Okay? The first material that we need hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide. And this is 2 atoms of hydrogen and 2 atoms of oxygen. Then again, we need what? We need water. Not water the product, no, water as water. Okay? And this molecular formula is this. Again, remember that these are the foundations of chemistry. You have to understand. Again, we need the solution. So manganese peroxide solution. Remember that this should be solution at the means of aqueous. And also we need what? Manganese. Manganese. You remember manganese acts as what? As a catalyst. Manganese 4 oxide. So these are the materials that we need in this experiment, or prepare oxygen in laboratory by decomposition of what? By decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. So copy those notes. Then I need the space. Then I want to answer now the first 3 questions, which was example 1. I want to do corrections of the previous homework. Okay? So do the correction. I need a space, because that space will, okay. So let me try to use, because I want you to, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to solve homework 1, homework 2. Okay? So he said that this is correction of homework 2, which you left it, okay, as what? As example 1, the one that I did. If this is your first session, example what? Example 1. Let me read the questions again. I won't rewrite it. I say this question, I took it from the Nectar Form 2, past paper Nectar Form 2 of 2014, question 4A. The question says, draw a diagram to show laboratory preparation of oxygen using hydrogen peroxide. The next sentence, in the diagram, label all the compounds and elements involved in preparation. Are the questions that you have. So he said that right now, you have to go, and I have to tell you about our library. So he said that now, this is the diagram of laboratory preparation of oxygen by decomposition. By decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. By decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. So here is the setup. So first of all, we have cysto. We have cystophenia. My beloved students have the cystophenia. Okay, cystophenia. And then there we have a tap. And here we have a tap. We have a tap, and then this is the tap. Okay, so this is the tap. At the top. Okay, then this funnel is dipped into the conical flask. Okay, so here it is. Then here we have the delivery tube. Here you have the delivery tube. Have the delivery tube. So you have the delivery tube. This is the delivery tube. Okay, it's a round bottom of the flask. And then this fist of funnel will be bending in this way. Okay, and then we have our sister funnel. Draw it with me. Learn how to draw. Okay. Then this is the funnel. Bend it this way. So here we dip it into the beehive. So this is beehive shelf. And here we have a water trough. That's the water trough. This is the beehive shelf. And this is the guest jar. It's a guest jar, but it has a hole here. Okay. So again, here it contains salt water. So this is water droplets. That's water droplets. Okay, so that is water trough. And then here we have some bubbles. Then this is still what? This is water molecule. Okay, water molecules. Okay. Then, okay, that's the setup of the instrument. Let us label. So here again, we still have water. We have our solution, because we have to close to here. So here we have our solution. We have to label that solution. But here we have again solid substance. And this is manganese 4 oxide acting as catalyst. So we have solid substance. So to label the apparatus, the first apparatus which we mentioned there is what is cystofunnel. So this is cystofunnel. Say with me, cystofunnel. We taught you in Form 1, or in case that you don't know its function, go to the playlist of Chemistry Form 1, then you'll find I'm teaching you. Okay, then this is the tap. Then what is this? This is hydrogen peroxide. So this is hydrogen peroxide solution. Okay, that's the tap. Okay, and then again, what is this? So this is what? So this is called what? Conical flask. Okay, conical flask. And what are these? These are manganese 4 oxide. So particles of manganese 4 oxide. So manganese 4 oxide. Manganese 4 oxide. So this is manganese 4 oxide. Okay. Again. What is this? This we call delivery tube. Delivery tube. Then what is this? This is called what? Gas jar. Gas jar. What is inside the gas jar? This we call what? Oxygen. So we find oxygen. This is oxygen at the top. Again, what is this? What is this? This is what we call behave. Behave what? We say that behave shelf. Behave shelf. Then again, we have what? What is this? This is water trough. Water trough. And then what material again we still have? We didn't label. We have another material. This one. This one. This is water. Okay. So this is what? This figure 3.1. Wonderful. So draw it. I think that this is very interesting, right? So just to relate with what we have, we say that we need how many apparatus? We need 7 apparatus, and I will show you. And we need how many materials? We need 4 materials, 3 materials. So let us start. The first apparatus is what? Cystofunnel. This is the cystofunnel. So all about here up to here, up to here. This is what we call the funnel. Then second one we need tap, stopper, or core. So this we call the stopper. So this is called what is stopper. Stopper. Stopper or tape, they have just the same function, just to hold this stuff. Okay, this is tape, that's stopper. Then the next thing, apparatus is what? Conical flask. This is conical flask. Okay, this is conical flask. This one, conical flask. Then we need your delivery tube. This is the delivery tube. From here, that will be taking oxygen from the conical flask and transfer it into the beehive, and then the oxygen will be transferred into the gas jar. Because the function of gas jar is called collecting gas. Then again, we have another apparatus. The first apparatus is water trough. Where's the water trough? The water trough is this one, which is a container. Then you need your beef shelf. Beef shelf is this one. It has a hole here. So this gas jar is upside, we say upside down. Okay, upside down. So upside down, so it has been immersed here. Again, we need what another part is gas jar. So this is the gas jar. So gas jar. So this is what? Gas jar. Okay, this is gas jar. Again, we need 4 materials. Hydrogen peroxide. Where do you put hydrogen peroxide? We put hydrogen peroxide here. Then we need water. Where is water? All of these are water up to here. Then we need manganese oxide. Where is manganese oxide? These are solid substances of manganese oxide. Then everything we had in advance, so we knew, we have already presented in the diagram of laboratory preparations of oxygen by using or by decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. By decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. So let me read the steps. Okay, what steps? So take a pen and then, because this is a digital technology. Okay, so I want just to read you the steps that you have to follow on preparing these experiments. In case you want to, you may go to the chemistry or just technologist or lab technicians and ask him all of these materials and apparatus so he can prepare oxygen and see it experimentally. It's your right to know that. So we say that experiments 9.0, okay, to prepare oxygen by decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, the steps. The first step, right? If you find that I'm reading quickly, then you can stop. You can rewind. You can rewind, okay? The first step, put about 5 grams of powdered manganese oxide into a flask. So the first step, put about 5.5 grams. So this is what you have to put out 5 grams or 40 of manganese oxide into the conical flask. The second step, arrange the apparatus as shown in figure 3.1 and close the tap. So arrange the apparatus means it means the only material that you have already put is manganese oxide. We didn't put hydrogen peroxide yet. We don't have water, or we can fill water. So arrange the apparatus before you fill hydrogen peroxide. But when you arrange the apparatus, please close the tap. The second step, place 80 centimeter cubic of hydrogen peroxide solution in the funnel. So take a measuring cylinder and then measure 80 centimeter cubic of hydrogen peroxide solution and put it here. But it will not be allowed to flow into the conical flask without opening the tap. Then the fourth step, add the water to the trough until it is 3/4 full. So add the water to the trough. The fourth step, add water to the trough until it is 3/4. So 3/4. This is estimated, just approximately 3/4 of water of the trough. Okay. Put a beef shelf in it. This is the beef shelf. So take a beef shelf and then put in it. Then fill a gas jar with water. So fill a gas jar with water. So it means that you have to make it down. It means you have to invert it. You fill it with water, and then you leave the space. Okay. Okay, and then turn it upside down over the beef shelf. So it's just you fill the gas jar in this way and then turn it upside down into the beef shelf, right? The fifth step, make sure that there are no air bubbles in the water in the gas jar. Make sure that there's no air bubbles in the water, okay, in the gas jar. The sixth step, connect the delivery tube through the shelf in the trough. Connect the delivery tube. This is the sixth step, okay, which will take oxygen from the conical flask into the gas jar where it will be collected. Then the seventh step, open the tap. Now open the tap. You don't open the tap just like a tap of water. Open the tap, right? Open the tap to allow hydrogen peroxide to drip onto the manganese oxide, 1 drop after another. So don't allow the hydrogen peroxide just to drip all of it. But you have to drop, it means you have to allow drops, 1 drop after the other one. It means you have to allow it slowly to come and react with manganese oxide, or it means that it will come to be decomposed, because hydrogen peroxide will be decomposed by manganese oxide. Then 8th step, collect 5 gas jars of oxygen. So collect 5 gas jars of oxygen, and then you have already collected oxygen. And because in the next sessions, we'll teach you about properties of oxygen, then we'll have a testing to realize that whether in this part you have oxygen or not. Wonderful. In case that I have left you in those 7 steps or 8 steps that you have to follow, you can rewind, means that you can replay this video in order for you to write one after the other one. So if you write, for example, if you hear the first step, then you stop, you write, you go to the second step, then you stop, you write. That's the process of learning by using the digital technology. So then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to finish this session, which has been a very interesting session for me. I know that even to yourself, it has been a very interesting session to you also. I would like to end this session with another questions of the nectar. Okay, this should be example 3. Example 3. So I found another question from the nectar form 2 about oxygen. And it's about the reasoning of this experiment of preparation of oxygen by hydrogen peroxide. So what is it? That's the question. And this is the question. It is, I have to refer, it is question from nectar form 2 of 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, before I write that questions, I would like to tell you about the Tanzania Online Ordinary Library. Say again, Tanzania Online Ordinary Library. So we have this library in order to equip our students with materials so they can master science and basic mathematics subjects. So in this library, we have so many reference books and materials that you can order them online and we can send to you anywhere across the entire country of Tanzania. Even if you're in Kwara, you are in Beira, we can send it to you. You're in Mara, we can send it to you. We're in Kagera, we're in Geita, we can send it to you. The first items or the first weapons that we have, it's a chemistry syllabus. Chemistry syllabus for ordinary secondary education from 1 to form 4. Okay? There's a kind of the scarcity of this syllabus, but you can make a copy of it. Then the second items you need, this is called the chemistry form 1 and 2 students book. It has been prepared by Tanzania Institute of Education, or we call it TAYAI, and then this very good book because it's been prepared according to the syllabus of United Republic of Tanzania for chemistry or from 1 to form 4. Again, you need another textbook. You need also another textbook that we call it chemistry from 3 and 4 students book. You need this textbook, right? So chemistry from 3 students textbook or students book. Again, you need this book called the Ordinary Level Chemistry Review, right? You can order this one. These are questions and answers from 2003 to 2019. These are the questions from past papers of Form 4. Again, you need these reference books that Form 2 Chemistry Review, questions and answers from 2003 and 2019. For you to be an excellent student of chemistry, you can order this entire package. And there's a good discount because we are not selling, we are servicing, we are not doing business actually, we are providing to you service because we don't want you to miss any piece of information. So you can order this package and there's a great discount and you'll be using the same discount, the same transport cost compared even if you order one book. So I advise you to order the entire package for you to have departments of chemistry in your house, or departments of chemistry in your dormitory, or departments of your mobile departments of chemistry in your bag. Okay, so now let me go to question number 9 of 2018. Question number 9A. Question number 9A. Question number 4. (2018) 2018. So it is 2018. Question what? Question 9. Okay, let me check. I'm looking for that question. Yeah, so it was question number 10, the year 2007. Okay, thank you, God. Form 2, Nectar, 2007. So let me just answer that question and then end this fantastic session I've never seen. Nectar Form 2 of 2007, question 10, question 10, C. Question 10C. So this question 10C. How does the question state? 2007. It's a question about that experiment. It's a very important question. Question 10C. And this is the question. Oxygen is collected. Oxygen is collected by downward displacement. By downward displacement of water. By downward displacement of water. Briefly explain why this method is used. Briefly explain why this method is used. So oxygen is collected by downward displacement of water. It is true, because it's downward displacement of the gas jar. Briefly explain why this method is used. Why should we do that? And why would you have purpose like this one? So the reason oxygen, it's a gas which is soluble in water. And also it is denser as air. So we have two challenges. Oxygen can be soluble in water, so we cannot get oxygen. And also the density of oxygen is nearly equal to the density of air, because the air contains 21% of water of oxygen. So we need to prepare oxygen, not the air, because air contains more than one gas. So the answer of this question, the way that you have to answer as an excellent student of chemistry, is this way. So solution. So it's an oxygen is collected by what? Is collected by downward displacement of water. Downward displacement of water, because oxygen is just slightly soluble in water. Just slightly soluble in water, and is nearly as dense as air. It's nearly as dense as air, so it cannot be collected. It cannot be collected Now on what? Displacement by displacement of what? Of air. By displacement of air. Displacement of air. So listen carefully. The question is, oxygen is collected by downward displacement of water. Why? Briefly explain why this method is used. Why it is not collected by downward displacements of air? Why should it be downward displacement of water? That's the question. The answer is oxygen is collected by downward displacements of water because oxygen is just slightly soluble in water. That's the first reason. So the first reason, oxygen is what is slightly soluble, is just soluble in water. Then the second reason, oxygen is nearly as dense. So as dense means that the density of oxygen is equal to the density of air. So it cannot be collected by displacement of what? Of air. Displacement means oxygen cannot displace air. So if you have air in the atmosphere here, oxygen cannot displace it because they have the same density. Oxygen can displace air if its density is less than density of air. That's the meaning. So we taught you about density in Form 1. So simply density of oxygen is slightly equal to density of what? To density of air at the point. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of session 3, which has been very interesting session to me. How about you? Tell me in the comment section. But before I end this session, this is the law that I've been given my Creator, who has employed me for the rest of my life to teach His people. So homework, and this is homework. So this will be homework 3. I have to leave the homework. And this will be example 4. Example 4. In this example 4, refer nectar from 2. Nectar from 2 of 2007, question 10a. If you have the review book, then you can copy or you can check the review. It's better to have this review book so you can believe on what I'm teaching you on my referencing. So question note 10a, the question said that draw, that will be the next lecture or next session, draw a well-labeled diagram, for the preparation of oxygen gas in the laboratory. By using potassium and the manganese for oxide. So this is potassium chlorate. I think that there is something which is missing there. Potassium chlorate. Potassium chlorate. Yes, something is missing here. This is not potassium chlorate. No, it's molecular formula. So it's potassium, chlorine, and then 3 atoms of oxygen. So potassium chlorate and the manganese for oxide. Mean that this experiment does not need the compositions of hydrogen peroxide. So do it. Make sure that you answer these questions, and I ask you that to write or to draw and explain just these additional questions, and explain also as how we've explained the laboratory preparations of hydrogen peroxide. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of session 3 of laboratory preparations of oxygen gas by decompositions of hydrogen peroxide. I thank God who have created me in his own image. I thank God who have given me the gift of teaching. I thank God who have given you opportunity to learn the beauty of chemistry for the form to mean that with me. I invite you, and I really insist you to subscribe into our channel, share our contents or our videos, like and dislike our videos. And also we welcome you into Tanzania Online Ordinary Library so that you can order books, materials and notes. Again, in case you feel from your heart that you want to give God thanksgiving, but also you want to participate in this program financially. It means that you want to support these programs financially, because it's very expensive to prepare one video until that you receive it. But our God is more expensive than the running cost, the initial and running cost of this program. So God has opened doors and welcome an amount of free will thanksgiving from our students, from parents, from guardians, okay, from sponsors, and from teachers, from politicians, from leaders. So from around the entire country of Tanzania, you can offer God your free will thanksgiving through this program. So you may send your free will thanksgiving through 0759745331, and the name of confirmation or the registered name is Olenjolai TAYAI. Or you can do the bank transactions by reading the description of this video, where you see the bank account and the bank name. Okay, so I invite you, join me in the next session, session 4, where I'm going to teach you laboratory preparation of oxygen by thermal decompositions of potassium chlorate. Right, that's the next session. Make sure that you don't miss it, and you enjoy these contents, and you take advantage of everything that you've been learning. Stay tuned in and stay at the link. This is Olenjolai. I'm a national teacher of chemistry from 2, from 3, from 4, and even from 1. And even I'm also a national chemistry teacher in advanced chemistry and in advanced chemistry from 5 and from 6. So may God bless you abundantly and keep you. I invite you, and I expect you to meet you in the next session. May God keep you and stay enjoying the beauty of chemistry.